Welcome. The Community Services Commission is now in session. To begin with, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance to be conducted by
Francisco. Oh, mine says Francisco.
Loretta.
Well, I guess I'm going to do it. Everybody stand, please. Okay. That's right. Okay, ready, begin. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a Community Services Commission ceremonial item for the installation of the oath of office for the newly appointed Community Services Commissioners.
I'll introduce Jennifer Connolly, our Deputy City Clerk.
If the newly appointed commissioners could join me down in the corral area.
Yeah, you're good. Victor, you can, yeah, she's just swearing in the three.
Start again. Sorry to make you get up. I face me so that you hear what I'm saying. Okay, but you'll say your own name. Don't say their names. I do solemnly swear that I will support the pledge of the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, Constitution of the United States, Constitution of the State of California. I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or participation. And I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Sorry, I don't have the bars.
Jennifer, thank you. Feel better. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
I believe I signed these already.
So Lisa,
Congratulations.
Margie, right?
You're welcome.
Victor,
Yes,
you know Margie?
of course.
Lisa, do you know Margie? Well, come over. Margie, this is Lisa. Lisa, this is Margie. Hi.
Welcome. We're going to move forward in our agenda to public comments. Do we have any public comments this evening?
I do. I have one. Heiko Pichel.
I go special. Thank you.
Actually, since it is a German name that originally came from Bohemia, you can pronounce it any which way you like. Heiko Peschel for Perel Foothill Ranch. Congratulations to the new commissioner. Welcome back to the old ones. I like having you here. I'll make mine fairly quick. Up in Foothill Ranch, we don't have a lot of problems. Mostly it's fairly quiet community, but the biggest problems we have is people occasionally parking where they're not supposed to. Had a fun one like that on my way in tonight. Intersection of Lake Forest and Big Parkway, coming down the hill. On the right side, there's a car with its flashing lights on. Just past it is another car with its flashing lights on, halfway up on the side. Apparently, he didn't make that turn well enough. So that's about as much excitement as we get. One comment about our nice park over there, the Foothill Ranch Community Park. Sometimes on Wednesday evenings and Sunday mornings when it's Sunday go to meeting time or Wednesday go to meeting time, a lot of the folks who actually go to the church prefer to park in the parking lot, making it a little more difficult for the people who would like to use the park to park there. I noticed that the church has their cones up so that if they're not in session, you can't park on their lot, but they don't mind parking on ours. Anyway, welcome, thank you, and I'll be listening.
Thank you. Question, how frequent is this problem of parking? Has it happened on a recurring basis?
So it's every Sunday morning.
Every Sunday morning?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I can shed a little light on this issue. This is something that goes back years. When the park and the church were built, they were built with a common parking lot. And the church has recently decided, within the last year, that they want to have more control over their parking lot. So they have put up some cones, and they do restrict who parks there. There are about 72 parking spaces in Foothill Ranch in the park, and once they fill up, they fill up. It's very difficult to enforce that because I can't look at a vehicle and tell if it's someone who's in the park or if it's someone who's elsewhere. So it's just, parking is a challenge for that park.
Unfortunate, but
Yeah.
the reality is, from a policing standpoint, unless you had a person there to document where that person's going, but even then, this would be hard to...
Even then, I don't know that there's anything that prohibits someone from parking in the park that is going to the church.
I'm not aware of any ordinances, yeah. Okay. We'll move on to presentations, recognition of the 2019 calendar contest winners.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll turn it over to Jonathan Volsky and Skylar Hunter from our Public Information Office.
Thank you for having us tonight. It's the annual calendar contest is one of the great things we get to do every year. We get to interact with the public. Everyone shows off the beautiful secret places in Lake Forest by submitting their photographs, and then the calendar is very popular. So we appreciate your participation. I'm going to turn it over to Skylar Hunter, who really head the project up this year and was able to make some changes to our production that came out very good for the city, and I'll let him share that.
Good evening, Commissioners. So this year we decided to go a little different with our calendar. We ran the contest in August of 2018 for 3 months until October. We went with a different theme. Normally we go with a theme that kind of showcases the different locales around Lake Forest. We've done like hidden gems of Lake Forest or find your fun. This year we decided to make it more about city pride. So we chose a theme of Lake Forest Proud. With the new Civic Center coming up, we kind of wanted to tap into people's city pride and what they really love about the city of Lake Forest. We also decided this year to do another first, which was to design the calendar internally. So I headed up the design for the calendar, I put it together, and we also included some fun city facts, little tidbits and information about the city, trivia. We had submissions from 21 participants, so 21 residents around the city participated in the contest. They submitted a total of 58 photos, from which we had to select only 12. And we did that with the input from yourselves. We submitted photos for you guys to look over. You guys selected some very excellent photos that made it into the calendar for this year. We were also, because we changed up our design process, we were able to increase the print run, and we were able to deliver it to more locations. So we have calendars here at City Hall, at the Sports Park and Recreation Center. We were also able to deliver some to the El Toro Library and Foothill Ranch Library for residents to pick up and enjoy. I'll hand it back over to Jonathan.
Just wanted to give you a quick update on some other PIO projects that we're working on right now that will allow us to interact with the Community Services Division even more so. City Council took some action at an earlier meeting, and we resumed the Mayor's Minute. Mayor Tedemer just recorded his first Mayor's Minute, and we posted it yesterday. The change with the City Council is that staff will now be writing the scripts. So we'll work with Scott and Vicki and the other members of the department. So when there's items that would be appropriate for a Mayor's Minute, we'll be able to write that script and help publicize events, volunteers, just the good things happening out of that department. We also launched this week a text service, so residents who go to our website can sign up to receive texts from the city. And the 3 items that we'll be texting out are news of the city, of course, traffic and transportation problems, so we can help Mr. Pesco out, and then also events, because we know that the events the Community Services Department does are so popular, so we'll be able to give updates. A great example of that is last year when we had rain during the haunt, if you remember, we didn't really have a way to contact people and let them know. With this service now, we'll be able to actually send a text to everybody who signed up. We'll have them opt in when they sign up and buy a ticket, and we'll be able to tell them because of the rain it's canceled or it's delayed. So it'll be another great communications tool. And then one we've been working on the bottom there, we're getting ready to roll out an Amazon Echo skill. So if any of you use Amazon Echo, you can be able to enable the skill and ask it what's going on in Lake Forest. And some of the things that we've programmed in there already are parks that have tennis courts or parks that have picnic areas, things like that, because we know that's of interest to the public. So we're going with Amazon because it's leading the AI race right now, but after we get this one up and running, we'll move over to Google and the other platforms. So we recognize that when we work with our public, the community services is usually the front-facing, that the interaction people have with the city and what determines whether they're happy with the city are the great events and the great services they find at our parks. So we're really looking forward to continue enhancing the PIO relationship with community services, and just wanted to give you that update. Thank you for having us tonight.
Jonathan, I've noticed, and this goes back a way, that you extensively make use of Nextdoor, which I think is another very good platform that a lot of people subscribe to. The question that I have with that, does that cover, with the various neighborhoods, it's broken down into all of Lake Forest, or is there anything maybe in, I don't know, south of Geronimo or something that is not served by them?
No, and I appreciate you noticing that. Lake Forest has become, Nextdoor has become one of our most robust outreach tools. People have to sign up with the real name, and we see where they live, not address-wise.
Right.
It covers the entire city of Lake Forest. We can send messages out by region, or we can send to the entire city.
Yeah.
And we just got a report that we're up to about 12,000 homes, which has grown exponentially in the last year or so. So it's become a really important outreach tool for us.
Great. Thank you.
So we want to again recognize the 2019 calendar contest winners. Perhaps I can read off the names and have the group assembled where we can do the presentation right in front here. As I call your name, please come up to the microphone area. Caroline Erickson. Greg Olson. Susan Brown Masumoto. Looks like we don't have anyone yet. Mike Ledray.
Thank you very much.
Maria Sobrano and Scott Tanner. I think all of this should go down to the front.
Thank you, guys.
I want to shake your hands,
Of course.
first
Thank you.
of all.
I
Thank
definitely
you.
want a picture of
I know.
shaking
Thank you for
of-
submitting. That's wonderful.
Okay. And I will be offering autographs later.
He's down to $5 an autograph on the sign, so it's good.
Let me squeeze, Greg, I won't take up much space. Sorry. So I like it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Exactly.
Mike?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. They all look the same on the outside.
No. Hang on. You have
I don't want to walk up with Grace. Good. How are you, Jim? Good to see you. I know.
Real long time.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Good to see you again.
So photography now has replaced the field? or-
Yeah. Well,
Need to move over.
just out at iPhone, sitting out on my phone.
You got Victor's butt over there.
Yeah, whatever it takes, right? Yeah.
Mike.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Mike, we have
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
And I'm in the front.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take more pictures for next year, okay?
Thank you very much.
And I'd like to thank the Academy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys around next time. See you around the city. I'll email you later. Bye, guys. Congratulations, Margie.
Thanks, Mike.
Again, congratulations to those who won the contest. Next is a report from the Senior Advisory Board.
Good evening, everyone. I looked at my notes and it said the last time I was here was September. That seems so long ago. Is that right? That's what I have. Okay, so because I was going through what I was going to report on, and I'm like, I'm talking about November. It seems so long away. But anyway, so November 8th, we had the Veterans Celebration. We had 166 attendees. We had guest speakers and then the color guard. On November 14th, we had the Thanksgiving or turkey celebration. We had 157 attendees. And they always want to call it a pie eating contest, but it's really a whipped cream eating contest, where they have to find the little pumpkin seed in the base of the pan and end up with whipped cream all over themselves. But everyone loves it. And then December 13th, we had the White Elephant Exchange, and that was ham and yam, and we had 167 attendees. On January 9th, we had our first Senior Advisory Board meeting for the 2019 year. The two new board members that were sworn in were Jan Wiviot and myself. And Jan will be the chair this year, and Betty Atwell will be the vice chair. And Jan couldn't be here tonight to give the report because she's nursing her brother's knee surgery, I think it was. And she's been ill, so she said she was on overload. We've been talking to Karen, and they've agreed to do a survey for the seniors, find out what they like, what they'd like to, improve upon, and all those kinds of things. And I think that will be good. We haven't done one for a while. I think it's like 2 or 3 years, maybe. Yeah. The seniors have been asking, so that's always a good sign to go ahead and do that. The taxi program, everyone was notified that no more vouchers. They got letters, they got phone calls, they got letters, they got phone calls, they got another letter and another phone call. Of course, you have to have at least one person that doesn't know or didn't get it or doesn't understand. So we had our record of at least one person. But everybody else got it, and so now you get an ID card, and when you call this certain taxi company, then you are allowed to ride the taxi, and it's I think a flat fee of $3 unless you're going outside the city to certain hospitals and clinics. And everything's on the back of the ID card now, so it's really going to be simple, and you can pay cash or credit card, which is really nice. We talked in the meeting about the new name, of course, where our center will be the clubhouse, and then Betty Atwell had an idea, and Vicky's working on some kind of logos where we might have just a little thing under where it says clubhouse, and it'll be 50 and a plus sign, and that's all, just something really simple. We've also talked about in the hallways or somewhere art from the seniors hanging in the new facility. We thought that would be nice. So nice way to honor the seniors that are taking art classes or whatever and put their artwork up. So I don't know if it'll be in the hallway or in a separate room, but something like that. So if you have any ideas on the art, we're looking for that. We're going to continue with our quarterly food drive. We don't usually do it around the holidays because everybody else does theirs. And we usually pick, I think we picked the first one's going to be for the Marines, and then we'll pick some others for the others. We're talking about adding a Grandparents' Day. Don't have too many details on that, but something like that. Mini excursions. They went to the Orange County Zoo in Irvine, which I didn't know there was such a thing. No. I'm not a zoo person. They went to Downtown Disney, and they went to Fashion Island. We're talking about, if it's possible, there's some, they're not really health fairs, but they're called Successful Aging, and they've been held in Long Beach in, I think it's October. And we're looking at maybe we could get a bus or something and go over there. It's not so much that the drive is so bad, but the parking is really bad. Then we talked about on our smartphones, I don't know how many people even know that here, but you can go in and fill out your health profile. So if there's ever an emergency, if you have like an iPhone, if you the off and on button, if you push it 5 times, this picture will show up, and it says medical ID or emergency SOS. And you can just hit one of those, and the phone call will go out to either 911 or your emergency contacts. So I suggested to our new young hire, Caitlin, because, you know, young people know everything about phones. On Thursdays, maybe she could give a presentation on just one phone tip, and she did, and she just had a huge response from the seniors. It's so much easier when somebody tells you something rather than come to us and we'll educate you, but we don't know what we're asking. So when you bring up an idea, and so we're working on that, and I think the seniors will really like that. And then Jan is concerned and wants to start some kind of a bereavement program when we move. Maybe there'll be like a room, so that there's always this issue when somebody dies that we all know from the senior center. A lot of people don't want to hear about it because it's depressing, but it's still a part of life. So she thought if we had maybe a room where those people that choose to go talk about it could bring pictures of their loved ones or whatever. So she's going to work on that. She thinks that that would be a good thing to have. And then she's also concerned when we move to the new facility that we have enough volunteers, like at the desk. The desk you'd have an employee, but when the employee's working, they can't get up and walk away and show people where to go and where things are. So she thinks we should have a really strong volunteer program where they'd sign up for like so many hours per day, and then when the people come in, they could walk them around and show them where the things are. And we're still doing really well with the emeritus classes, give or take, depending on what it is, but when I looked across the board, it's averaging about 100 people taking the classes, give or take. Some are like 200, some are 80, but if you average it out, it's close to like 100, which is really good. And our next meeting will be on March 13th at 10 o'clock, and everyone's invited. The public's always invited, and I encourage you to attend. We look for ideas, and usually Loretta and Jim are there, and we let them talk too. Any questions or comments?
Excellent. Thank you so much.
One quick question. When is the senior center due to open, or the clubhouse?
Right now, our target date is September.
Okay.
Target month.
Target.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the key word, target. Oh, that's a good one, Loretta. Target season.
Is there any other comments or questions? Thank you again.
Okay, thank you.
Is our ACT liaison here today?
Good evening. This month's ACT report is going to come from our recreation coordinator, Aubrey Gahan, who's in charge of teen programming.
Did you have a memory who said he would speak?
He's a new member, so he's a little shy.
It's good practice.
Hello, my name is Goshen Raj Sandal, and it's a pleasure to be representing Lake Forest Advisory Committee for Teens. I'm here to update the Community Services Commission about what ACT has been working on in the past couple of months. We recently finished a community service project. We hosted a food drive in partnership with the South County Outreach. The teens created posters and signs of what was most needed. They are beginning to research other service community projects. Currently, ACT is preparing to volunteer at our upcoming special events. This Sunday is Astronomy Night, and Snowfest is the following Saturday. They will be assisting in the guests at craft stations, game stations, and line control. We look forward to seeing you all at the upcoming events at the City of Lake Forest. Thank you for your time.
Very good. Thank you. Excellent.
It wasn't so bad. And Mommy's so proud, I can tell.
Moving to the consent calendar, the minutes of the regular meeting of the Lake Forest Community Services Commission held on November 15th. Are there any changes, additions?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All please vote.
Okay, we'll get the vote. Margie, you probably have to abstain. Would Margie have to abstain?
Yes.
Oh, no?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Sorry, because
She wasn't here.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, for the minutes. That's correct.
There you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Discussion items, selection of the chair and vice chair for the ensuing year. I'd like to go ahead and nominate Jim Rosenberg for chair. Is there a second?
Well, so
Oh, you have to say something?
no, I was just going to introduce the item for the benefit of our folks in the audience and our newest member. So once a year, the commission reorganizes, and it's usually done in January, sometimes February. Obviously, this is something that we're doing tonight. So we do open the floor for nominations, and we have our first nomination from Chair Scheer.
Jim Rosenberg is nominated. Is there a second?
I'll second. It was me.
Please a vote.
Any other nominees?
No? It's unanimous.
Congratulations, Jim.
Yay, Jim.
Thank you.
Nominations are now open for the vice chair.
I would like to nominate Loretta Herron. You're welcome.
Is there any other nominations?
I need a second.
Oh, I'm sorry, it needs a second.
Commissioner Matzel seconded.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Sorry. There's a second. Please vote.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to both.
So at this time, we actually pause the meeting and we reorganize.
I'm vacating.
Oh, not until the next time?
We do
I
that
stand
at the
corrected.
meeting?
All right. Well, congratulations.
Fine. Thank you.
Our next item would be the November-December, since we didn't meet in December, for the 2018 recreational report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And tonight's presentation is going to be given, I know that we all know Recreation Manager Vicki Blevin, and also this evening, playing the part of Laura Lissack, we have our Recreation Supervisor from the Sports Park, Monique Villasenor. she'll be giving the recreation portion of the report.
Okay, I'll start out this evening, Commissioners, with a report for November and December. Lots of stuff happening in those 2 months. Now, Sandy was nice enough to, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 items on my list. Thank you, Sandy. So I only have 3 to discuss. The first one is the winter leisure times that went to homes in November. I don't know if anybody noticed, but it is newly designed. We changed the look of the leisure times, and you'll continue to see changes with that. We added on the side some sidebar page on the pages that make it easier to find the programs you're looking for. We also added bigger font in the senior section, so it's easier for our seniors to read that. We've done some redesigning of the ads that we run in there as well, and you'll continue to see redesign of that publication. Along those lines, we are also working with the same designer to do a redesign for the Senior Scene Clubhouse newsletter, which will be called Clubhouse Communication, something along those lines. And that will happen not this next publication, but the publication after that. So it's very exciting to be able to work on new designs. That's kind of one of the favorite parts of my job for me. The second item I wanted to bring to your attention was the Special Needs Jingle Fest Dance Party on December 15th. Super fun. We had 98 participants come that night. Lots of fun giveaways. They all got little head boppers that were Christmas oriented, so they either had stockings or they had snowmen. We had the DJ that night. DJ Noah is actually a very high functioning participant who has I think he is Asperger's, yes.
Asperger's.
Great, but was our DJ, so it's even better that we have him participating. And everybody danced to the favorites of YMCA, of course. And then we had Jingle Bell Rock and Feliz Navidad, so we had, some super fun events that night. The last one on my list is, and I'm still shocked when I say this, 15-year anniversary for the skate park. The skate park's been, 15 years. And, wow, it's so suiting that Monique is here, because Monique was one of the first hires for the skate park as a rec leader. Remember those good old days, Monique? 15 years ago. The event went 12 to 5. We had one of our residents, Dylan Whitkin, competed in the contest and won $500 for the best trick. We had about 100 people in attendance, and over 600 skateboarders and community members were there throughout the day. So I'm still, once again, in shock that it's been 15 years since that facility has opened and still running very, very strong. Let me see if there's anything else on my list here. On the calendar, but I did get a message that somebody wanted to hear about a mini excursion that's coming up to Veterans Park. So it's either the next newsletter or the newsletter after that, we'll be doing a mini excursion to Veterans Park, where we'll be taking the seniors and giving them a tour, obviously, of the park, and then telling them a little bit of the history behind the park, and having them look at the new monument area, and talk about the design, and probably have some snacks there.
Totally.
So that is my report for this evening. I'd be very happy to answer any questions, or we can have Monique begin.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay.
Well, wait.
Nope.
Okay. So, this might not be the right spot. So, in regard to Veterans Park,
Yes.
I drove by. It looks like we have Chinese lanterns up there. And I think, is that to deter birds?
Yes. Yes. So they're big
Yellow.
They're big yellow balls. They have a big
They
eye.
have a big eye on them.
We move those around. We have reflective devices. We have fake coyotes that we move around.
Yeah, I see.
When we did all this research on mitigating the wildlife and trying to keep the ducks and the geese from nesting in the park, those are all strategies that have to be done. It's not just one of those, it's all those that we hope will work. Good question.
Well, it was just, because, I'm driving going, Chinese lanterns up. Okay, now I'll make that. I figured it was for that, but just thought, well, all right, thank you.
Also, I have a question on the Veterans Park. With the heavy rains that we've had, curious of how the pond is holding up as far as flooding or any issues.
The pond's holding up fine. The only issue is that the pond is designed, it has an overflow, but it rises about 2 feet, sometimes goes up on the walkway before it starts going down again. So this is the first time we've seen it since we reopened the park. So I think they're trying to design something so that it actually drains a little sooner. Yeah. The issue with that is that the water actually drains, it goes into the storm drain. It actually can end out in the creek, which is not what we want. So in a controlled release, we actually send it through the sanitary sewer. But if you do, there's another way to do it. I think if it overflows, it actually goes into the creek, which is not what we want.
Is the water treated water, or is it?
Right now, it's potable water. Eventually, it'll draw. The irrigation system will draw water from the pond, but that has not been enabled yet. But the water is treated. I think it has a blue dye in it, and it's something you'll see in in other lakes in the city. They put the dye in because it reduces the amount of algae that grows by blocking the sunlight.
Very good. Thank you very much for the updated report. We'll go ahead into the director's report.
Actually,
Her part.
Did I
report
miss
from
the
Monique?
report?
Yeah.
What did I miss? It's your turn. Sorry.
You missed Laura.
Okay.
With
I just have a few items. So we'll start with an event that we had in November at the sports park, our first ever fall movies in the park. It was a special Day of the Dead event that we held where we showed Coco on November 2nd. It was actually one of our most successful movies in the park we've ever done, with 600 in attendance. We had crafts, games, face painting, the whole works. So that was really successful. Our other event that we had, which was held here at City Hall, was our Breakfast with Santa event. That we had 2 sessions, breakfast and brunch. They were both sold out with 110 at each session. They got to enjoy crafts, a nice catered breakfast, and story time and songs with Santa Claus. So those were really good. We also in December had 2 versions of our camps that we do in summer for 6 to 10-year-olds and 11 to 14-year-olds. Those were both sold out, where they went on excursions to the movies and bowling. And then just for our calendar of events coming up, we have at the sports park coming Astronomy Night, which is this Sunday. So we look forward to seeing you there. Also, Snowfest is next Saturday. So, and we look forward to seeing you there and participating in sledding.
And it's worth noting that for Astronomy Night, it's actually a lunar eclipse Sunday night with the blood moon. So if the sky is clear, it would be worth coming out. It's at the sports park. I'll let Monique tell us about it.
So it's this Sunday, and we're starting at 7. Hopefully it's clear skies. We partner with an outside organization to provide telescopes and a mobile observatory. And then we'll also have some crafts and little videos playing about astronomy. Hopefully it's clear skies, so you should be able to. You could bring your own telescopes, but we will also have some for viewing. It starts at 7, but the full moon doesn't peak till around 10 o'clock. We're ending the event at 11, so hopefully between 10 and 11, it's kind of prime time if the skies are clear. So, still a good event, even if you don't get the best view. So.
They were there for the family camp out, correct?
I believe, I believe so.
Yeah,
And and last year also, if you attended our astronomy night last year as well.
They do a phenomenal job. And then they're also in our parade. They're in our parade. They're from Lake Forest, they're in our parade, so it's a win-win-win.
And it's a nice free event that you come out and enjoy the park and astronomy.
Very good. Thank you. Director's report.
Quick question on one item here, if you don't mind. Last Friday night, not last Friday night, but the last Friday night of the month program, the number that I saw in there for 2 months with 5 people, is that?
So last Fridays is at the end of every the last Friday of every month.
Yeah.
It's an extension of the Teen Lounge program, where kids who are basically in the Teen Lounge program can stay for a couple hours extra. It's usually for parents who want to keep their kids there and they want to go out for the night, or they're getting off of work later. So it doesn't require a lot of staff or a lot of resources, so we just stay open for those extra hours. And sometimes we'll have kids sign up at the last minute, but we always are available on those last Fridays for kids to sign up.
Okay. Because I know the numbers in the past have been somewhat larger.
Yeah, it all depends on the time of the season and what kids
Okay.
are in the program that particular year.
Director's report. I just have one item. It pertains to the meeting time. So currently, all of the commission meetings start at 7 o'clock, and this commission voted to recommend to the City Council that all the commission meeting, or at least this commission meeting, start at 6:30 p.m. instead, half hour earlier. And it made it to the City Council. They're considering starting all of the commission meetings at 6:30. They did ask that we go back to the commissions and just reaffirm that all the commissioners can make it at 6:30 p.m. So I just need to know from each of you if you can make it by 6:30 p.m. For the monthly meeting.
Yes?
Okay.
Because I initiated it, so yes.
It's a yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes? Okay. Thank you. So I'll share that information with the city clerk's office. They'll re-agendize this and get it back to the city council. Thank you.
Another, if I can, another part of that request by one council member was to get kind of a positive reading that it wouldn't affect the ability for the citizenry to attend. And I think the answer, because you were there at the time, gave, is that, and then the other directors also, that most of the commission meetings are lightly attended unless there's a specific issue on the agenda that people kind of want to really voice their opinions over. From my tenure, those issues typically have drawn a larger crowd of residents that I would say are in the over 50 group than just the younger, and they, I think, are flexible to the point that I don't think the earlier half hour would create a problem. But I think just to cover all bases, if you would go back representing us with the consent of my colleagues, that is fact as opposed to possible fiction, I think we'd have a better chance.
I will relay that is not fake news. That is
Yeah, good
absolutely
idea.
true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, final request. Any additional comments, questions, queries? Very good. At this time, we will entertain commission comments whereby discussion, no discussion can take place, but each commissioner can make any comments of their choosing or any questions that need to be asked or any announcements. So I think we'll start. Well, I was going to start to my left, but I don't think you have any. You might, so I will let you have an opportunity of any comments you want to make or questions.
Just want to thank you, everyone, for welcoming me tonight. I'll do my best. A little nervous, but Scott, I talked to Scott today. Director Wasserman, and I appreciate the support and encouragement. So I'll do my best.
Very
Thank
good.
you very much. Proud to be working with you guys, and all of you guys over there too. Thank you.
Okay, Lisa.
Welcome. And just really excited on some of the things that Jonathan and crew are working on, anything like that with the technology and getting it where it's, especially when you're reaching, over 12,000 homes in Lake Forest with Nextdoor. That's impressive. I've seen a huge difference from last January to this January, so kudos, and I'm really excited. And any of my support outside of this too, I'd love to be able to talk to you offline on that too, because it's really something that I've been was passionate about before, and really happy to see it happening. So looking forward to that. Definitely want to try to make the astronomy night. I think my son and husband will be all over that one. So, and looking forward to another year and some exciting things happening in the city, and it just seems to be getting more exciting as we go with the all the new facilities opening. Pretty exciting. One comment I did want to make about the clubhouse, besides the artwork, we're doing all this photography competition. You could combine art and photography. So just a thought on that, too, for the hallways. And that's it.
Thank you. Loretta?
Okay. Well, Happy New Year. And Margie, it's a pleasure to have you on our commission with us, so thank you for that. So I looked on my calendar, and I did attend a number of things, December and so far in January. I know I did North Pole Calling Gym one night, and I did the high school, the musical portion of the high school they do a Christmas lights at the stadium, which is always fun to see what they're up to, and hope that program is growing, and I'm hoping that they'll continue to do that. I attended the Lake Forest Business Appreciation Luncheon, Bunko, and I guess we're having Bunko tomorrow night. I'm on the wait list. I attended some of the Heritage Hill holiday events. Of course, we had our staff lunch. Senior White Elephant, that's always fun to go to, and I went to the Senior Advisory Board meeting. So I was busy too, and I was going to ask, what's the best way if we see some damage at one of the parks? Do we email it in? Do we contact you? Do we contact Public Works? What would be the preferred way to handle it?
The best way to handle that would be to submit through the Ask Lake Forest system. You can find it out on the mobile app. You can also find it on the city's website.
Oh, yeah. I've done
I think
that
that's
before.
the best, because then it gets tracked, it gets routed to the correct person, and we can be sure to address it.
Okay, well, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to double check, because I was, I think it was in November or December, I was looking at one of the parks, and there's like some damage in regards to, when we were looking at the tennis courts. Looks like the fencing, there was a problem with the fencing. Yeah, and I figured you knew, but I was still kind of like, because I know there's like some, anyway, okay, so I figured you knew. And then are we doing anything? When I was at the city council meeting, someone had brought up, was it the playground equipment at Peachwood?
The
Yes.
shade structures has been
Yeah, the
taken
shade
care of.
structures.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that of the 10 parks that are being renovated, there were 9 that will not start until next year. They're going to be budgeted in next year's capital improvement budget. So that's fiscal year starts in July.
July, right.
The one that was budgeted for this year was Peachwood Park. And so we're anticipating awarding a construction contract in April.
Oh, okay, great, okay. And then also, I know we have and I may not know the exact title, our little Bluebird Library, is that what we call it?
Little free library.
Little free library.
Yeah.
Okay, so I noticed that the one at the sports park is registered on the free library website, but the other 2 are not.
That's the city clerk's office.
That's what I wondered, if that was you or the city clerk's. Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
the city
I'll,
clerk's.
I will let them know.
You can email Jennifer if you want.
I'll email Jennifer and ask her if she's got that on her radar. Okay, and that's it. So thank you.
Jim?
Thank you. Kind of starting with a comment that maybe I should have made earlier, back to the recreation report, the a comment about the written comments about Prelude in the park, and kind of, here's the facility, you can use it, and everything else is on you and your families and friends, I think is a very, very good decision from the amount of money we were spending for it. But I don't like to give up money, I'll be honest there. So if we could reallocate that, I would think 2 areas that would probably fight to the death over it are our special needs program and our senior program. So maybe you could take that $10,000 and do a Solomon thing and cut it in 2 and give it to them. So trying, okay? All right. because I'm sure there's things that definitely could be used for that. Some of the events, again, it was real interesting. December wound up being a month, especially with us going out of state for 11 days. It got really compressed, and I've never seen a month in years that I had so many conflicts of different times, different days. But again, Thanksgiving, the senior lunch, I did make part of that, was, as always, fun. The people get really, really enthused about, and I've done it several times too and never succeeded, trying to find that pumpkin seed in the 2 pounds of whipped cream that you have to dig through, and just some of the other spirited stuff that goes with it. Special needs, the networking group, okay, this was the initially ad hoc committee, blah, 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 that was started in a previous administration. Over the last few months, and I talked to Vicki a little bit about it, is basically up and running. They are no longer considering themselves a semi-adjunct arm of the city, but they have a new name, and they have a new mission statement, and it is all proceeding very, very, very positively. And Vicki and I talked about some more interaction between our special needs, basically, and them as far as involvement in the programs that we do, and, again, us supporting them just from a standpoint, bless you, of who we are, and that we also are very invested in the special needs program. As a Santa for North Pole Calling, I am extremely pleased to say that now I can count among my colleagues 2 elves. Margie has been an elf for a number of times, and Loretta was this year. So I think maybe, Victor, you can provide the reindeer next December, and Lisa can help pack it up with presents, or, we can make it an entire commission thing. But it's an activity that's a lot of fun. I mean, some of these kids, and you can have a really fun time with the parents, too. And that's the part that I think I enjoy more than even the kids. I did attend the skate park 15th anniversary, extremely well done, and great crowd, too, for it. And, it's a community somewhat unto itself, but, again, the people who use it love that place. Also, with what I do with Marines, and also being now on the board of the Chamber of Commerce, the 5K run they did on December 15th last year was so well that they actually sold out. They had, I think 461 or 481 runners in there in a kind of after-action report type meeting on it. One of the things that was talked about was if we could increase, of course, the number of participants. And there's a number of different ways to do that, but one thing was that probably to do that, we would have to alter the course that was being used, which might include, for a short period of time, a closure of a city street or so. And we're going to write that up and put it, through the channels formally. But just from a notation standpoint, the date for this year will be December 14th to happen. And the other thing, which I think we can control in-house, that we limit other youth groups, user groups, to be out of there until 1 o'clock. We did that this year. It was extremely successful. There was no contention, no upset parents, no upset participants, because there was somebody in the parking lot. So, senior board meeting, Sandy commented very well on that. It is personally a pleasure to attend those meetings. It gives a great insight into that part of the age levels in the community. It's an extremely dynamic group. There are, I want to say, no limits, which I think is a very positive thing, that nothing is considered, well, we shouldn't talk about that, or off base, but it's all very well oriented towards doing something for that segment of the community. which I don't want to stay here for 2 hours, but I think we have an opportunity, and I think we have a need to actually put on, as a city, as a commission, as a staff, as a advisory group, all of it, thinking caps on, because we're walking into something that is just almost impossible to imagine, especially considering that this, I don't know how many 100 square feet in there, have been a council chamber, commission chamber, a meeting room, a senior center, a special needs center, and I'm probably missing 82 other things that this facility is used for. And we've done pretty well, and I think there's at times some sense of, well, look at all the things we've done. We have opportunities to do other things that are far above and beyond maybe dreams. And I think they will require some new concepts. I think they will require the extension of the contract city concept, which is good because we're used to doing that instead of doing it all in-house. I think we are going to need to put in volunteer programs, very much like a candy striper in a hospital. And I think when we look at the community center and look at the 50-plus clubhouse, and I promise I'll never call it a senior center again, and that we can have, even for different tasks, different people of different age levels. And it's great for like high school kids or things they could do and get the community service credits that they need. Because it's amazing the number of them that go into their senior year and they have 0 of the 8 that they need, and they're scrambling so they can walk for graduation. And just a question, Vicki. It's not a ultimatum. When's the new sign coming up out front? I know you can tell me.
Probably 2 weeks.
Good. Okay.
So it'll say the clubhouse is going to be very basic, and we've already changed the name in all of our publications that are
Good.
coming out.
Okay.
So
make me
we were
happy.
on the same thought process.
Super Bowl, the day of Super
Yeah.
Bowl lunch. That would be nice
Yeah.
to see it out there. To get rid of that senior clubhouse or that thing. Okay. Meeting times, thanks, Scott, that you took that away. We do that. Looking forward to Snowfest. That hopefully the weather will hold, because I think there's another storm behind this, a few days behind, but again, I'm not going to talk about it because it might jinx it or that. On the senior surveys, I know we talked about it at the senior board meeting and mentioned tonight. I think maybe an important thing to throw in there would be something along their, call it expectations, or maybe desired programming for the new center. That, yeah, that, and I don't know, what the content is, but hey, somebody might come up with something that is really good.
So what you'll see in the next Leisure Times that comes out in the senior section, in particular the 50-plus section, is a small ad saying we're going to be looking for information from a survey, and then a whole page from the clubhouse communication is going to be a survey itself that they can tear out. And we're talking about doing, when you turn it in, you get your name will be in a raffle, and each week we'll pull a name. You can only win once, so we have all these ideas of how this is going to go, but it's basically going to be an area where they can fill out ideas and other areas where they can check. I want health classes, I want this,
Right.
check.
But leave some blank, too, as
Yeah,
opposed to
bottom
that
portion will be
this is what
blank.
you can choose. Somebody might come up with an idea that, again,
Exactly.
is absolutely marvelous,
Yeah,
that we
right.
could look into and see if, to possibly adopt it. Oh. Okay. Closing, say Happy New Year to everybody. I think it's going to be an extremely exciting year for the city of Lake Forest. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Boy, it looks like we're going to be launched into a very busy year with all the various projects with the Civic Center coming online. I want to comment on the emeritus. I made a commitment to attend courses that were offered here at City Hall and the Sports Park on Emeritus. It's, if you're not aware, it's put on through the Irvine Community College, Irvine
And Saddleback.
Saddleback.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that I went to were Irvine-based. They were the ones that were sponsoring here on site versus Saddleback, where you had to go to their campus and select out. The registration process was outstanding. I can see it was improved from previous times to make it easier for seniors to register, because the registration was done online. Although you can bring in the paper copy, but to ensure there's a space, it's suggested that you go online, which I did. I did all that stuff. It worked out rather well. As a matter of fact, all the classes here were booked, and they had wait-listed a number of people. I guess you guys get reports or do on that sort of thing? Okay, just want to let you know that the senior, that I went to on Tuesday, this week is when they launched the first sessions. And I went to the Pilates session. I was the only token male there, which is fine. No, there was one other, sorry. But it was fully packed of, I think, 30, I think whatever the capacity of the room, I think that was limiting how many people could register. And what a workout. I mean, have you ever done Pilates, anybody? I mean, it's a stretch, you know, this. I never knew my body could do some of those things. I learned a lot. And then on Wednesday, I went. No. On Wednesday, I went to Tai Chi. I'm not mispronouncing that. Tai Chi, where you're learning all the hand movements and all this. And I don't know. I don't think I took to that particular. But I went through it just to get the experience, and the seniors that I was with certainly enjoyed it. It was very enjoyable. And then today, this morning at 10 o'clock in the morning, I went to a general exercise class, very much patterned after aerobics. You know, all the various stretching and all that. Again, I never knew I could stretch that way. You know, but and granted, again, I was one of two men in the class, and I think the Tai Chi had 4 men, but it's usually geared for those who have done this before. And you can tell they've been through the routine, particularly on Pilates and particularly on the aerobics. You know, they know which way to turn. It's pretty obvious I was a rookie. You know, I was turning this way. Oh, that's supposed to be over this way. But it was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of fun. And I wanted to experience those courses, and they're well done. The instructor, excellent. And I believe strongly that it does a positive service to the community by having those type of programs on the Emeritus. Now, I haven't been to the Saddleback campus, and maybe I'll do that next semester if I see something that might be of interest. But I like the idea of the localization of these courses here, because they actually take this area and partition it off, and it's very well done. And I can imagine how much work there is to arrange for the open space, because I think they drew the curtain or the wall and used that space for the thing. So well done. So I wanted to give you some feedback on that from my own experience. I don't know if anybody else has been through the courses or not.
I've taken the Tai Chi.
The Tai Chi, yeah. So I'm practicing that. You know, it's interesting. It's a very graceful motion, you know, and all this good stuff. So staff Christmas party was outstanding, and Jim, kudos. That's something I look forward to every year, to have a chance to visit and enjoy everyone's company. That was on the 11th of December. They had a white elephant event, which I always look forward to. And if, as a suggestion, some of you work, and it may be difficult to get away during the lunch period, but this function actually was in the afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. At 4:30 it started. Was this event in the afternoon? I can't remember. At the normal lunchtime. Okay, some events are in the late afternoon. This one was at 11:30. But well done again. In fact, it was at capacity, and I believe there was overflow of people, and that seems to be always well subscribed, but well done there. And the last item I had was the Mardi Gras, which is coming up on February the 8th. And I believe that's the one late in the afternoon. So I encourage those folks, if you have the time, starting at 4:30, 4 o'clock. If you can get the time to come, and even if you can drop in after work, because it lasts till 7 p.m., I think it's worth a visit if you haven't been through it. I think all of us have been through it once or twice. I'm not sure if you have, but it's difficult for you to get away. But I just wanted to highlight that February 8th activity. Lastly, in closing, I really enjoyed being chair this past year, and I look forward to Chair Rosenberg's tenure and to start getting into all the things that are going on in the agenda. And I realize the Civic Center is going to absorb the majority of our energies, budget and so forth and so on. And I'm looking forward to the opening. Hopefully, cross your fingers, there's no delays in the later part of this year, towards, I guess, year-end, fall. Is that the target? Yeah, it's kind of soft. Yeah. So I have nothing further, and I deem this meeting adjourned.